I'll never forget the day I saw my 78-year-old mom, Eleanor, standing at the community pool gate, tears streaming down her weathered cheeks, clutching her worn-out teal towel like it was her lifeline. Her frail frame trembled, and her eyes darted with confusion, while Sandra Thompson, our neighborhood's self-proclaimed HOA queen, stood there, arms crossed, smirking like she owned the whole damn world. "I don't care what you saw you know, old lady," Sandra snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "No resident pass, no entry. This is private property, and you're trespassing." My heart sank as I watched from a distance. Knowing Mom's dementia made her words come out jumbled, her explanations weak. She tried to tell Sandra she lived with me, her son, that we'd moved her in just a month ago, but Sandra's eyes gleamed with that predatory spark I'd later come to loathe. "Changing your story now, huh? First you claim you belong here, then you mumble about MOVYing in. I smell a liar." 3 months earlier, I'd made the gut-wrenching choice to bring Mom into my home in Willow Creek Estates, a cozy suburban neighborhood that promised family-friendly VY beds and a peaceful community pool. Mom had been diagnosed with early-stage dementia 6 months before, and VYing alone was no longer safe. Her doctor urged me to keep her active and socially engaged, so I encouraged her daily walks to the pool, where she'd do gentle water aerobics with other retirees. For a few weeks, it was perfect. Mom would come home beaming, sharing stories about her new friends, her spirit lifted for the first time since Dad passed. I thought we'd found a way to balance her independence with her safety. Then Sandra Thompson decided Mom was her next target. Sandra had ruled the HOA for 3 years, mostly because no one else wanted to deal with her endless whining about lawn lengths or holiday lights left up past January. She was the kind of person who'd measure your grass with a ruler and leave snarky notes about your mailbox color. Annoying, sure, but I figured she was just a bored suburban busybody. I was dead wrong. It started with her suspicious glares. I dropped Mom off at the pool, and there was Sandra perched on her porch across the street, phone in hand, like she was filming a crime documentary. Soon, she was whispering to neighbors, "Who's that old woman at Saw Pool? Does anyone know who she belongs to?" The way she said belongs made my skin crawl, like Mom was a stray dog. Within weeks, Sandra escalated, trailing Mom during her walks, always 20 feet behind, pretending to check her mailbox or water her already drowned plants. Neighbors called me, worried. "Your mom's sweet, but Sandra's acting unhinged," said Mrs. Jenkins from down the street. "I caught her snapping pictures of Eleanor yesterday. It's creepy." I confronted Sandra, laying it all out. Mom's dementia, her legal residency, even a doctor's letter explaining her condition. I showed her the lease with Mom's name on it. Sandra nodded, her smile syrupy, but I could see the gears turning in her head. 2 days later, a certified HOA letter arrived, citing complaints about an unaccompanied elderly Indy VY dual using the pool without ID. It demanded more documents and ordered Mom to carry her resident pass at all times. Furious, I sent every paper they asked for, plus Mom's medical records to explain her occasional confusion. Sandra's response? She doubled down. She'd show up at the pool whenever Mom was there, hovering, muttering loudly about outsiders and security risks. She'd corner other swimmers, spinning tales about Mom being an imposter. "I've lived here 9 years, and never seen that woman before last month," she'd say, her voice dripping with certainty. "Something's fishy." The breaking point came on a humid Tuesday afternoon. Mom had finished her swim and was flipping through a magazine by the pool when Sandra stormed in like a hurricane. I was running late from work, stuck in traffic, and had called Mom to say I'd be 30 minutes. That's when Sandra pounced. "You need to leave now, Saw," she barked, looming over Mom, hands on hips. "I've had multiple complaints about you, and I'm ordering you to vacate." Mom, confused, didn't recognize Sandra dementia can erase familiar faces in an instant. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" she asked, her voice soft, polite, like she'd been taught in the 1940s when manners meant something. Sandra's face flushed crimson. "Don't play dumb with me, lady. I'm the HOA president, and I can remove trespassers. You don't live here. You don't saw here." Mom's voice wavered. But my son said I could come. He said it's okay. That's when Sandra crossed a line she couldn't uncross. She snatched Mom's son, had the one Dad gave her before he died right off her head, Leah Mom's gray hair tumbling in her face. Your son saw I'd saw. Honey, Sandra sneered. You're too confused to be out here alone. Someone should lock you in a home where you belong. The cruelty in her tone was like a punch to the gut. Mom's eyes filled with panic, then tears, not the quiet kind, but deep, wrenching sobs that silenced the pool. She reached for her hat, trembling, while Sandra dangled it just out of reach, like a bully taunting a kid on the playground. Please, Mom whispered. My husband gave me that hat. He's gone, and it's all I have left. I pulled up just in time to see Mom curled in a pool chair, sobbing, while Sandra lectured her about community standards. 3 neighbors were trying to comfort Mom, shooting glares at Sandra, but no one dared challenge the HOA tyrant directly. When I saw Mom's tear-streaked face and her precious hat crumpled in Sandra's fist, something in me snapped. What the hell do you think you're doing? I asked, my voice low, the kind that makes people rethink their choices. Sandra, clueless as ever, puffed up. I'm doing my job. This woman was causing a scene, and I handled it. You should thank me for keeping her safe. I helped Mom up, gently pried her hat from Sandra's grip, and turned to the crowd. My mother has dementia, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. She's a legal resident. She pays her HOA fees. She has every right to be here. What you just did is elder abuse, and I'm pressing charges. Sandra laughed, a cold, mocking cackle. Good luck. I have witnesses who saw her acting confused. I was protecting this community. Maybe you should put her somewhere more suitable for her condition. What Sandra didn't know was that the pool had security cameras and several neighbors had filmed the whole thing. Mrs. Jenkins had called the cops the second Sandra grabbed Mom's hat, and sirens were already closing in. Within 20 minutes, I had 6 witness statements, crystal clear footage of Sandra's cruelty, and a police officer jotting down notes about elder abuse laws. The next morning, I filed charges: harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and interference with a vulnerable adult. Sandra showed up at my door with her husband, demanding I drop the case, threatening to sue me for defamation. I was protecting this neighborhood, she shrieked, over and over, like a broken record. The story spread like wildfire. The footage leaked to the neighborhood's private Facebook group, and Sandra's was torn apart. HOA board members, once her loyal puppets, faced heat for enabling her. Emergency meetings were called, and Sandra's leadership was put under a microscope. The legal process moved fast. Sandra's lawyer pushed for a plea deal, but the prosecutor was livid after seeing the footage of a 78-year-old woman with dementia being bullied. This is the kind of elder abuse we take seriously, he told me. Your mom deserves justice, and this woman needs to learn a lesson. 3 weeks later, cops knocked on Sandra's door with an arrest warrant. The charges had been upgraded to include criminal harassment and abuse of a vulnerable adult. Neighbors watched from their windows as she was cuffed, still yelling about her innocence and demanding her lawyer. The trial was quick. Sandra's attorney tried to paint her as a well-meaning volunteer who'd misjudged, but the footage of Mom's crumpled face as her hat was snatched told the real story. The jury took less than 2 hours to convict Sandra got 6 months in county jail, 3 years of probation, and a due law $15,000 fine. When the verdict came, she lost it, screaming in court about being the real Tim, how she'd only protected the community. The judge, unimpressed, tacked on 30 days for contempt. As the bailiff dragged her away, Sandra's face was a mask of shock. Her reign of petty terror was over. Seeing Mom smile again at the pool, her teal towel in hand, felt like a small Tory. But the scars of that day linger, a reminder of how cruelty can hide behind a title and a clipboard. What do you think? Did Sandra deserve her punishment? Or was she just a misguided busybody who got in over her head? Should HOAs have this much power over our lives? And what would you have done if you saw this happen to your mom? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this story got your blood boiling, and subscribe for more real-life drama. Let's keep the conversation going.